Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining me. Tonight, I'm going to be doing a playthrough of Ker Nethalas Into the Midnight Throne, which is a single-player dungeon survival game. I've been working to get this set up to play using several different tools, namely Questbound, which is a program that allows you to create interactive character sheets, and it's really awesome. I'll post a link to a video I created showing off this sheet for Ker Nethalas. And I've also been using Fantasy Grounds to get the game to where I could play combat inside of it. So tonight I'm going to be going through the first domain. So basically the first dungeon that is set up. And if you're interested after you watch this, first of all, if you like what you see, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you like this, you can purchase this on Drive-Thru RPG from Black Oath Entertainment, Alex T. And on Drive-Thru RPG, it's $15 for the PDF. And that comes with, some player aids, a character sheet in PDF form. And you can also buy the softback on Amazon for $20. So let's get into this. I'm going to show you kind of the whole beginning part of the first domain. So there will be spoilers. Let me start with that. So definitely will be spoilers. So I will jump into this, and as long as you don't mind having the first kind of intro playthrough spoiled, then watch away. So I'm gonna start in the very beginning and read through where this starts with your survivor. Okay. Before you even open your eyes, a wave of nauseating stench hits you, immediately causing you to heave, the bitter taste of bile in your mouth. Your whole body hurts, and you can feel an intense burning around your neck. With some hesitation, you manage to sit up from the pile of soft refuse you appear to be lying on top of. To your horror, you quickly discover that this is not garbage, but a pile of decaying human corpses. Bloated faces and sunken eyes stare blankly at you, illuminated by a single ray of sunlight coming from very high above your head. Flood of memories comes rushing back. You were executed. You quickly stand up, your head swimming, while you check your throat. You immediately wince in pain, the flesh tender to the touch. There's no doubt about it, you are hung. You try to speak, but the words come out as a grunt, your throat too damaged and dry to produce any other sound. You turn away from the rotting pile of flesh and look around you. You find yourself within a large, empty chamber, the only light coming from a hole some 30 meters up above. There's no way you'll be able to climb back up there. Rats the size of cats edge around you, nibbling on the dead, too fat and well-fed to even bother hiding or fighting each other for the best bits. Ahead of you, you see what appears to be a crack in the wall, wide enough for you to go through. There's no doubt in your mind of where you are. Ker Nethalas, the Midnight Throne. Everyone in Veldonia has heard the stories about this vast underground necropolis that was once the capital of the Valorian ascendancy before their demise. You also know that nobody has ever come back alive from such a place. Considering you're in rags, injured and exhausted, your chances are not good. Somehow, though, you've cheated death, and there must be a way out of here. Hesitantly, you head towards the breach in the wall, hoping to find something you can use to increase your chances of survival. You are alive. Barely, but alive. You've been punished for a crime that you may or may not have committed, but Anera smiles upon you, and against all odds, you're still among the living. So to begin with, we would create a character, and I've already done that. So let me show you the character I've created, and we're going to open the character sheet in Questbound. Again, this is an application that's currently in early access. It's a program that allows you to create character sheets using just visual programming. There's no coding. I have another video again that I'll link to that shows you a little bit more of the in-depth of the character sheet, but we've got it all set up. We have everything ready to go, and I'll jump into the character sheet as we begin playing. So I'm going to jump to, give me one second, the place where we actually start, called Stepping into the Darkness. So this talks a little bit more about your beginning. So what I want to actually go back and show you, I'm going to expand this a little bit or narrow it. So this is basically, as I understand it, the pile you find yourself on. You wake up amongst this pile of corpses, skulls, and that's where we start our adventure today. All right. So I've done some of this already. It says when you first awaken among rotting corpses, confused and in pain, you have nothing but rags on. The knowledge you accumulated all those years spent on the surface. Ker Nethalas is an unforgivable place, and you'll need to find your footing quickly if you want to survive. So I've already done these rolls to distinguish or to account for what is called hard beginnings. So you have direct damage, which means you roll a d6 and you subtract that from your toughness. I've already done that. You lose some of your sanity. I've already done that as well. And you start with some exhaustion. So they do recommend that you start with the initial first domain, which is what I'm doing. A lot of folks that I've seen do these playthroughs just jump right into the official game, but we're going to start and we're going to run through the actual first domain dungeon. So I'm going to flip over into Fantasy Grounds, and I've put this all into Fantasy Grounds myself. Maybe at some point it'd be great if I can work with Alex of Black Oath Entertainment and see if he'd be open for kind of the very first domain being put in here. I'm not sure, but we'll see. So I will open up the actual image of the dungeon, and if you scroll back out, you can see we have the whole dungeon here. I'm going to play it how I think it's supposed to be played. I'm still learning. This is actually my first ever playthrough, so I'm sure I'll make mistakes, but I'm going to get this where it's a little bit bigger, and I didn't worry about making this map better. Just took the resolution as it was in the PDF. So I know before we do anything, the very first thing I need to do is determine who the overseer is. And the overseer is the entity that sits over this domain, and they rule the domain. You don't have to necessarily fight them, but you get a lot of benefits by doing so. So let's see who our overviewer is first, overseer, excuse me. And we're going to roll, and we roll a 3, which is the Carnage Devourer. Let me open the Carnage Devourer. So I have the tokens and I have the NPC all set in here already. So let me show you an image. See if this link wasn't working earlier. Okay, good, that works. So this is the Carnage Devourer. Nasty, nasty thing. So I'm going to go back to our character sheet and click on the game events and other. And under Overseer, I'm just going to note, I don't know if we'll face the Carnage Devourer in this session, but I'm going to put that here. And then I'm also going to leave room because the other thing we need to do is determine the Overseer's influence. So you roll on this table here, and this is the impact that the Overseer has on the rest of the monsters in this domain. So a 2. Vital, D4 health divided by 5 per level. So I think that means that basically I would roll a D4 for health, and I would add that amount of health when it says divided by 5. I guess I'm just going to add, since we're on the first level, I guess I'll just add like 1 health. Not quite sure, but I'll do that. Add that 1 health per individual encounter. So let's jump in and we'll just kind of get through this as we play. All right, so the corpse pile. This is where you opened your eyes for the first time after your supposed execution. This is where the nightmare begins. There is nothing of value here, just rotten flesh and vermin. You do find a half-spent torch, though. It will last you for 10 rooms. Most of the time, when you have a light source like a torch, it will last 20 rooms. I picked a mastery, which is kind of like a class, but one of the masteries I picked gives me dark vision, so I don't need to worry about torches, which is awesome. So I'm not going to worry about that torch now, but I don't believe anything else happens in this room. So I think typically you would roll for a possible encounter, but I think given we just kind of fell down this pile, I'm just going to explore and kind of walk through this as I think it's supposed to, as I think you're supposed to go through it. And I guess I could go either way. You go up and to the right, or I can go straight ahead. So maybe what I'll do is I'm going to go, for now, I'm going to go right into this room. The guard room. This room appears to be some ancient guard room. Tattered banners still hanging from one of the walls. Double armor and weapon racks lie collapsed and rotten near the walls. But among the many rusty pieces of weaponry, you find something you can use. So there's a dagger, a club, and I know since I took bladed weapons, so I'm going to take the dagger and I'm going to go back to my character sheet and do a few things. One, I'm going to go to combat and I'm going to pick my weapon, dagger. And I know that skill I'll show you is bladed weapon. So that's, I'm going to put that in here. And then one of the things I got by taking weapon mastery, and I guess what I'll do, I think this is legitimate. I don't know if it's fair or not, but I'll say for a dagger, I'm going to use my weapon mastery. If I open it here, if I open weapon master, which is the other domain I took Umbra Phantom and weapon mastery. Let me refresh this. This is still in early access, so the questbound, every once in a while, it'll not open the right page, but I think it will now. Good. If I get back to the rulebook and weapon master. All right. So let's see. It says choose a weapon. Your weapon skill is increased by 20 and the damage you deal by 4 when wielding it. I'm just going to say that's the dagger. That's probably, maybe that's cheating. I don't know, but that's what we're going to go with. So I'll go back to the sheet and we've got the weapon. And so we'll be able to increase that die by D4. So it's a D6 plus a D4. Now, the other thing that I want to make note of, and let's open up the PDF, because if I find my weapons here, there we go, weapons, there's weapon traits. So let's find the dagger. Here's the dagger, it's 5. The damage type is piercing, but the skill is bladed weapons, and the speed is 10, and the notes are quick. So the speed that's 10, that's important because you're allowed to add, I don't think it says it here, it says it elsewhere, but you can add that 10 to all of your combat skills. So I'm going to put a quick effect so I don't forget about that. So let's do that. Let's say effect plus 10 to all combat rolls. And also I'm going to say plus 10 initiative. And I'll show you why I'm doing that. I think that's right. I feel like I'm giving myself too much, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So if I go back to a dagger and it showed the weapon trait was quick. And quick says this weapon grants you plus 10 to initiative checks. So that's important. I'm going to use that. I don't know if I can use that for stealth, but I'll use that. Typically in initiative, you can use perception, but if you're trying to surprise somebody, you can use stealth against their, I believe it's their awareness. That's what it is. So, all right. So let's go back here. And that's why I went to room 2. I think you're supposed to at least get that initial equipment. So, and then I need to roll on the random armor table. So let's go down here. And I know I did that table. Loot and spoils, random armor. All right, so let's roll that. 17, greaves. So I'm going to make a note of that on my character sheet. So I've got greaves, which protects, you should know this, I'm pretty sure, let's see. Yeah, protects your legs and feet. So that's fine. And I think Let's see what it says. If it says anything else about the type, fields, armor. Where are my greaves? Piecemeal greaves. So I'm going to say, look, I'm not going to roll for this. I think it's got to be light. So I'm going to say light, and protection is 1. So I'll go back to here and say on my legs 1, and integrity. I'll look at that later. I think you start with a D6. So maybe I'll just put that to a 6. Yeah, I'm going to put that. It's really a D6, but at least I believe it is. I'm going to put that at a 6. And that's just the quality. That's basically how long it'll last. So we'll come to that later if we haven't that implied. I do want to look at maneuverability because I remember seeing that. I don't remember what, I think maneuverability is dodge. Yeah, up here. So I have to reduce, because I'm wearing that, I have to reduce my acrobatics, dodge, and stealth by 5. That's not good. So let's go back to my character sheet and make sure that we go to dodge. And I'm just going to put this to 35. And I think I'll remember this. Dodge. Did it say acrobatics and athletics? No, acrobatics and stealth. So acrobatics goes to 15. And stealth, that's not good. I was trying to get my stealth high. That's all right. 25, it's not horrible. All right. So now in this room, let me open that again. I think it said there's no other combat or event in this room. So now from here, I'm just going to say, look, let's go wherever we're thinking about going. And I think I'm going to explore down the steps here. I'm going to walk down here. I'm going to say, typically, once you start creating your own domains and basically you roll up your own dungeon, then you look for, if you're either going to be in a corridor or a room. I think for this first domain, it seems like it's really focused on the room. So I'm going to call this a room, but it doesn't have a predetermined anything in it. So we're going to go back so I can remember how to do this. And we're going to go to the room exploration chart. So we don't have to roll for the room or corridor. We're in a room. So generate a description. I can do that. I'm not going to worry about it for this opening dungeon, but I do need to make a tension check. Don't need to worry about the light source. So we're going to go back, and our tension die starts on a D8. So I'm going to roll a D8, and if I get a 1 or a 2, okay, good. If you get a 1 or a 2, your tension die goes down 1 stage. So it would go to the D6, then it would go to a D4, and then if I rolled a 1 or a 2, I would encounter some type of event called a growing darkness event. So I don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's go back. We've done that. We did our tension check. We're good. So now we do an encounter check. Is there an encounter? So the way we do that is we go back to our room encounter. I should have it down here. And so the way this works, see if you can see that. 1 through a 9, there's no encounter. 11 through a 20, there will be an encounter. And you have a limited number of monsters you'll encounter in this first domain. There's only 3, but there's more. I think there's like 40 types of opponents that you can face once you get through this initial dungeon. So let's see if we get into a encounter here. We do. So we immediately face an encounter, and that encounter is going to be against these Blightfang rats. So I'm going to add those to the tracker. You can see them here. And now you can see them up there, and I'm going to pull them in here with us. Not going to worry about the token spacing or any of that, because combat is not, you don't need to really worry about the distance. So let me open this character sheet or this monster sheet. And I don't know if I created an image. I think I did. I may not have. Yeah, I don't think I did. So you can kind of see what these guys look like. And these are not, this is not from the game. For these opponents, I just did some AI search, and I used the notes for these rats to create this image. And basically what it says is these abominable rodents are grotesque amalgamations of rotting flesh and shadows, their sinewy bodies covered in mangy mottled fur, possessing malevolent crimson eyes that pierce the very soul. White Fang rats can really spread havoc quickly if left unchecked. Whispers speak of these nightmarish creatures amassing beneath Veldonia, ready to unleash an apocalyptic wave of suffering upon the world. Now, I do want to look at these because I think, you encounter 3 of these. So I do need to duplicate these. Let's do that right now. I should have done that probably in the encounter, but it's all good. Can drop this down and drag number 2 and number 3. Pull that one up here, and we'll pull this one down here. Kind of has me surrounded as I walked into here. Now, I think I haven't really looked at the rules when you're looking at multiple, but I think you'd roll 1 initiative, I think, for all of them. I'll look at that later. I won't slow us down for that. But I do, let's see, my perception is, I think, pretty high. Let's go back and look at it. The perception is 50, and that's what you're going to roll for your for your initiative. And they're going to roll their, I think what they have, go back up here. They're going to roll their awareness, I believe. I'm gonna look that up just to make 100% sure. Combat. Let's see. Initiative and surprise. Yeah, my perception against the target's awareness. Now, I could roll, I only have a 25 stealth. If I roll stealth against their awareness, and their awareness is 60, and if I win and they don't, then I would get a plus 20 on my first attack instead of a plus 10. But you know what? They've got a high awareness. I think I'm just going to do a straight up initiative. So I'm going to roll my initiative here, and that's done by rolling my perception. And I've got a 50, and I want to roll under that. I rolled a 15. That's really good. So that's 35 under the 50. So let's roll. I'm just going to take, they all have the same level. So I'm going to roll one of them, and we'll roll their awareness. They rolled a 13. So the way this works is we both rolled under, but the way, I'm going to read this again, but I think I go first. This is counterintuitive, but when you roll opposed checks, you're looking at, do either one of you roll under your target? And if you do, then the highest roll goes. I'm going to look at this again, but I'm almost positive that's the case. Yeah. I think that's right. So I'm going to go and we'll start. I'm going to put my initiative. We'll put them. I don't really need to do an initiative roll here, but I'm going to give them an initiative of, say, 10. And I think this will be, I'll give me 20. So I'm going to start the initiative here. All right. So now the way combat works, I am going to do an attack roll. So this definitely gets confusing, or not confusing, but something that's going to take me a bit to get used to. So my skill is a bladed weapon. Now, I know that most of the time you cannot go above 80, and I'm at 80 because I gave myself 40 points. You start with 20, I gave myself 40, but because I took Weapon Master and I'm using the dagger, that bumped me up to 80. So I can't go higher than that, except when you're attacking, you do get an initiative bonus. And in this case, I don't know. I don't think I'll put myself above 10. Oh, and I should have given myself plus 10 to initiative. So that would work as well. So that would be definitely, I think, one initiative. So, okay. So I'm going to say that I roll my bladed weapon, and I do think I can roll a 90 or under. I'm going to put this up to a 10. I don't know if that's going to work, but what I'm trying to do is basically bump that up. Actually, I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to assume it's a 90 now, but let's just roll on this. I got a 52. So because I think that should have gone up to 90, I hit. So in this case, I think I can only attack one of them. So I'm going to attack this guy, this Blightfang Rat 1. And the way you do this now that I hit, I then look up the damage table. And remember, we looked at this earlier. So I get it's a D6 for most every weapon and every weapon that's not magical. So that's the dagger falls into that category. So I normally get a D6, but I get that plus D4 because of my weapon mastery. So I'm going to roll my D6, which is a 3. So on this table, that deals a 1 damage. And then I'm going to roll a D4 for my second die. And that's another 3. So I deal 2 damage against him. Let's see if he has any type of body armor. All right, so he has armor of 0. He does have pack tactics. So let's look at that. The creature receives +5 combat skill for each other pack creature still alive. That'll come into play when it's their roll. Now, one thing I did not do, I'm sorry, I do need to roll against their combat skills. So let me do that. And yeah, let me do that. I had forgotten to roll that. 14. So he is under his, but I was under with my bonus. I think I had like I want to say a 30 or 40. So I am higher than him. So I apologize for that mix up, but I do think I still hit and I do the 2 damage. That's what I'm going to go with to keep this rolling. And I'm pretty sure that's correct. So let me go into the combat tracker, and each of these, this Rat 1, so I'm going to give him 2 wounds. So unfortunately, I didn't kill either one of these. So now I'm going to go down to the Blightfang Rat's 1 attack. So now he gets to attack. You always get a +10. So that means that the skill isn't a 30, it's a +40. When you have the attack roll, the initiative, it's just something that is a standard whenever you're attacking. You always get a +10 to your attack skill. I'm going to put this down here because I want to see if this works. I don't know that it will, but bear with me. We'll roll their attack skill, one of them. So that's, yeah, it was a 2. So it added +10, but he had a 2. So that's a phenomenal hit. I can roll to see if I roll maybe it doubles, which would be a crit. So let me roll mine. And I'm going to roll dodge. I think that's my defense. Actually, let me look at my defense, but I'm pretty sure. Standard actions. Combat. Yeah, if it's... Yeah, I use my dodge skill. So I'm going to use my dodge skill, which is 40. So 47. So I failed. He got a hit. So now his hit, and I should have, gosh, I've already forgotten. He has 2 other creatures alive. So he should have gotten a +10. So he definitely, he was way under his target. All right. So now let's roll his damage and let's see if it tells me what is his damage. Oh, you know what? Shoot. I need to look. Sorry, this is the first time I've played this. So let's kind of retcon that. And what it's going to do is this is going to tell us, I think I'll say that it probably hits, but I need to see what his action is going to be. So I roll on his action table. 3. So he's going to scratch. So scratch is me dealing D4 +1 scratching damage. So I'm going to say, I'm not going to retcon that. He did hit me. So I'm going to say that he does that D4 +1 slashing. So let's go back to the damage dealt table. And let's get these over here. And we will roll from him a D4. He rolled a 1 +1 is 2. So that's a 1. Now, one thing I did not do before, and I won't retcon me hitting him, but now we need to find the location. So where does he hit me? So I need to find my hit location. humanoid hit location. I should probably hotkey that. Let's hotkey this down here. And let's see where he hits me. And I should have done that. I didn't. He hits me in the right arm. So I have no armor. I only have armor on my legs and feet. So it's not a crit. Crit for a humanoid is in the head. So fortunately, it's not a crit. So we'll stay with a 2 damage. Is that right? He did. Yeah, they both did a 1 damage. I don't get any reduction, I don't think. So I think I'm down to 2 damage. So my wounds are... That mean, you know what? I'm not going to do it here. It's the point of me having this character sheet. So my toughness goes down to 9. All right. Now let's go to the next person. Next rat. So now the next rat, what we're going to do before we do anything, we are going to decide what his action is going to be. So we'll roll his action. Those actions of 3. He scratches you, dealing D4 plus 1 slashing damage. All right, so now we need to open his sheet, and I think I can do it from here. So let's just roll his combat skill. Now he will get, because he has 2 others, so his skill, his target is really 40 because he has pack tactics. So it's 40, but he gets a 48. So now I do get to roll. Now, unfortunately, every multiple that you're using your reaction and your defense, like dodging and defending, is a reaction. Every time past the first one, which I've already used, I get a -20. So what I need to do is I need to open my character sheet. I need to roll on the dodge again, but I need to give myself, I'll just do it down here, a -20. Actually, that's not how you do it. I know that this 40 is really a 20. That's what I need to do. So he missed, but oh man, that's too bad. Yeah, at 23, it says it's a success, but it's a -20. So I do not succeed on my dodge, but he missed. So we're good. So he can move on. So the next rat is up, and let's see what this rat is going to do. We'll roll on his table. And where is his? There it is, the Blightfang rat action table. Move this back over here. And all right, so let's see. He's going to bite. So he's biting me. So let's go ahead and go back to his combat skills. So again, he still has 2. So he needs to get under a 40 because he gets 10 plus 10. 95, that's a bad fail. So I mean, you know what? I can roll even though I'm down to a 0, but I might as well roll on my dodge because if I get doubles, that's a crit. Or actually, you know what? It probably doesn't make sense because if you get doubles and you're above your score or that your target, then that's a fumble. So I probably don't want to roll my dodge. Forget that. I won't do that. All right. We're going to move this back to Kurt. So now it's back my turn. We're moving to the top of the round. So again, I think I'm doing this right, but I'm going to erase all this. But I'm going to say he has 80 on his bladed weapon plus the 10 for his check. So he's got a 90. So let's hope 73. So he's 17 under. So this rat is going to, I'm going to keep going after the first one. So the rat is going to use, here it is. So I'm going to have him roll his combat skill, and this goes up to 40. So he needs to get under a 40. All right. So he failed. I succeeded. So I get my D6 and D4. So let's open up the damage dealt again. And we'll roll a D6, a 2, and a D4. All right, so that's a 3. So both of those are 1. I keep forgetting, and let's see this. He is an animal. And what I should be doing, let me open up the arachnid, I think it's humanoid, right? Humanoid, insectoid, quadruped. Does this tell me what an animal is? Yeah, quadruped. I was like, that could be a quadruped. So I'm going to bring this down here. And what I should have done is say, hey, where am I hitting him? So let's do that. I'm going to roll on the, so 4 quarters, so that's fine. So it didn't matter. As you know, I did 2 points of damage, so that rat is gone. So I can get rid of that rat. We got the nice little blood spatter there, and let's move on to the next one. So now this rat is going to roll his combat skill, or actually, let's first see what he's going to do. I guess I can roll the combat skill first, but kind of like, put this up here, kind of like rolling on the table to say, what is he going to do? He rolls a 4, so he's going to try to scratch again. Scratchy, scratchy. So he gets 5 this time because only one of his buddies is alive. So he gets a 38. So his combat skill was a 30 plus 5 is a 35. So he's over it. Let's see if I can roll. I think I have to. I don't know if I call my reaction. Like, do I not have to do a reaction now? I'll have to look at that later. But I am going to. Yeah. I am going to dodge. Huh. Yeah, simultaneously defender makes a combat skill check. Their dodge skill. So yeah, let's do that. So 36 under 40. So he failed. I succeeded. So that means I get to roll on the defensive maneuver table. And that is over here. So let's roll on that. I rolled a 5. So your opponent immediately suffers 1 damage that ignores armor. That's pretty cool. So that was Blightfang Rat 3. So he takes a wound. So he has 1 wound. That's awesome. My defensive maneuver paid off. And now the third rat, let's see what he's going to do. He's going to roll. He rolls a 5. He scratches me. So he's trying to scratch me. All right. And he still has 1 buddy that's up and alive. So he's going to do his combat skill. 98, a bad fail. I'm going to roll my dodge, but remember this jumps down to 20. Let's see if I can do 40. So I didn't succeed because, again, I had to subtract that 20. That's all right. All right. But now we're in the second round. Is that right? I think the third round? I feel like that's the third round. But that's all right. Let's make that the third round. And so, okay, I'm still going to go after this Blightfang Rat 2. And let's see if I can hit him. Use my bladed weapon skill. Let's get rid of this. 46. Not bad. Not bad. And he will do his combat skill. He's got 1 buddy up. 56. So he did not. So now let's go ahead and figure out where we hit him on the quadruped. We're going to roll where we hit him. Remember, a head is going to be the, oh yes, nice, head. So what that means is that it's an automatic crit. So you can crit 2 ways. If you roll doubles, and if you're under your target for your combat skill, that's a crit, or it's a fumble, or sorry, critical hit. If it's above your target and you roll doubles, it's a fumble. But in this case, it's a double. So I don't know if I double both the weapon die. Let me see if it tells me quickly. I'm reading the book. Let me pull this up. I'm going to see if I can find critical hit. Critical hit. Critical hit here. If the defender attacks, okay, combat critical hits have their damage doubled. This means that if you would normally roll D6, you must roll 2D6. Any modifiers are doubled. So I think I would roll 2D6 and 2D4 think that's right. And his head. So let's do this. I'm gonna roll 2d6. So 3 and a 2. So remember, you don't add those up. What you do is you look at the damage dealt table. So a 2 and a 3. So right now those are 1 each. So that's a 2. Let's roll both 4s. So I rolled 2 4s. So that's 2 more damage. That's 4 damage. If I remember right, he has no armor. He is dead. So he takes the damage and he is dead. So now next to the next Blight Fang rat. And let's see what he's going to do. Put that over here. Let's open up. Let's roll. He rolls a 5. So he's going to scratch. He's going to reach out and get personal. Try to scratch. Use the combat skill. So he has nobody in front of him anymore to help him. So his 36 fails. So now I'm going to roll my bladed weapon attack. 83. I do get a 90 again because I get that plus 10. Oh, he should have gotten... Let's see. He rolled a 36. But I keep forgetting whenever they're attacking, they should be bumping up their 30 becomes a 40. So he does hit. So I need to... Yeah, I should have tried to dodge that, I think. So I'm going to roll the dodge against that. 30. So I think, again, the way this works, he rolled a 36. His target was 40. So we both succeeded, but his roll is higher. I think he wins. So that means his attack hits. And if I remember right, I thought it was a scratch. Yeah, it says right here, scratch. So he's going to scratch, was a d4 plus 1. And then we'll see where he hits me. So it's a 3 plus 1. It's a 4 on the damage dealt table. So that is probably a 1, but let's see where he hits me. Because if it is the head, I should have rolled more. It's 8. Okay, good. Abdomen. So I think it's just my leg and my feet so that I have armor. So he rolled his, let's see, 3 plus 1 we said is 4. So that's, if I remember right, that is a 1, right? Yep, that's a 1. So I take 1 damage, my toughness. All right. All right, let's clear all this out. I think, I don't even know if I rolled against my dodge. I think I did. My gosh, I'll get better at this as this goes along. All right. So now I'm going to target him and roll my bladed weapon attack. 85. I mean, it does hit. So let's see, though, how he does when he is trying to dodge against it. 84. So he does not, he's not able to block it. So let's see where I hit him. Go to the quadruped. So I'm hitting him 7 hindquarters. So he's trying to kind of turn and run from me, and I swing and hit him. And with that, I get a d6 plus a d4. Here's my d6 roll. It's a 4. So again, that's a 1 point. And let's do, that's a 1. So that's a 0. So I do 1 point of damage against him, and his wounds up to 3. All right. So now he is going to come back at me. See what he does. He rolls, and he rolls. He's going to bite. So let's see how he does with his skill. He's got no buddies in front of him, but he does get to, his target's not a 30, it's a 40 because of, again, plus 10, but he's above that. Let's see if I can roll a good defense, though, because I'm doing this simultaneously. 40, right on the number. That's a success. I get to roll on the defensive move table. And I roll a 5. He immediately suffers 1d4 damage that ignores armor. And I've already got that coded. So he suffers 4, but I think I still have to look at that on the damage dealt table, I believe. So I'm going to say that's 1d4. So that's a 4 on this table. That's a 1. I think. Because it doesn't say that it's just a straight up damage. Yeah, I'm going to say, I guess that would make sense. Basically, you get a point of damage. It's not going to be a huge, yeah, and it could be no damage. So I'm going to say that's what it does, I think. All right, so let's go to the next round. At the top, Kurt is going to use his bladed weapon. I hope I'm doing that right. 76, boy, I'm rolling high. Thank God I've got a high value there. He is going to roll his combat skill. Oh, an 8. So, but that isn't a double or anything. So yes, he's under it, but my roll is higher. So I think I still win. So let's see when I swing at him, where I hit him. And I want to hit him on the head if possible. 13, right foreleg or front leg. That's okay. And now I'm going to roll a d6 and a d4. The 4, so that's a 1 point. And actually, it doesn't matter. That's going to kill him. So that is going to kill him. All right. So all of the combat is done. Let's go back to our character sheet. There's nothing. I'm going to do a quick story entry because I am going to come back to this. I'm going to call this Rat Room 1, just in case I face more of these. Faced and defeated 3 Light Fang rats. And just make that note here so I don't forget it. That's great. So let's go back and do a couple of things here on my character sheet. So let's look at XP actions. So open a locked door, haven't done that, haven't dismantled a trap. Each time you enter a new domain, I'm not going to say when you start, I don't think I get XP for just falling into this pit. Each time you defeat a combat encounter. So I'm going to click on this. We do get 50 points of XP for defeating that. However, the other thing that we did, or actually we didn't use our armor. We would have used our armor. We would have had to roll on that armor check. Your armor could get damaged and ultimately you might have to replace it, or it might be useless. But let's go back, because now that we're done with this and we've beaten the encounter, I can try to scavenge in the room. So, and I assume you do this after you're done. It says when you enter the room, it says each time you enter the room, make a scavenge check. But I gotta believe that you do it after you face the encounter. At least that's how I'm gonna play it for now. All right. So let's look at the scavenge roll. I think I have a scavenge roll down here. Scavenging, yep. So let's, first I have to roll. So what is my scavenging ability? 20. That's not great. So let's open our character again, Kurt. And by the way, Kurt is the name, I think I said this, but of the Questbound creator. All right, let's do our scavenging check. 22. Oh, was there anything else that set up here? Critical success, making legend +5, but no. Scavenging table, but I did not pass. So that's it. So I think that would be it for that room. And then I think that's a pretty good amount of time. Yeah, that's almost an hour. So I'm going to call it here. I just wanted to show off the first, room or two. And I think I'm going to keep this going. If you like this and want to see this keep playing on, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. But I'll definitely keep playing through this. I stumbled around a little bit, but I think I got into the swing of it, and really excited to keep playing through this domain and see how my friend Kurt does. So hopefully I'll see you again next time, and we'll play a little bit more Ker Nethalas. Thanks for watching, everyone.